project going to it's going to be sited on an existing capped landfill, fixed tilt solar panels with ballast to minimize ground disturbance. The site has existing fence and access roadway. And there's just the trail, which is, I wrote south, but it's actually to the north, residence and commercial property abutting, and some wetlands located east of the project, and a little bit of ag land. And the panels are going to be placed 9 foot in height. Yes, it's 8 foot height allowed. And I propose that it's a matter of essentially local concern, because I went through all the different things, glare, traffic. I think they've covered the idea of building on a landfill with their method of having them on fixed built on ballasts and et cetera. So, and as far as water runoff, not any worse than it was at a landfill. So that's kind of what I thought. So, essentially a matter of local concern. If everybody thinks the same.
Anybody have any questions for Pamela? Okay, do I have a motion?
Yep.
Moved by Deb, it's a matter of local concern. Second by Allison.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, Pamela, the next one.
Next one is site plan review under consideration by Fort Edward for a subdivision. And this is the one that's, we can go through quite quickly. We don't have to make a determination because Washington County Planning Agency does not include reviews of subdivisions. I wrote notification to Village of Fort Edward, but we're not recommending anything. So the only question I have about this is to Roger, and that you can look up the various types of referrals that we don't review. And I read the resolution and looked through all the electronic files and the boxed files and didn't see anything that laid it out. So I was wondering, what am I looking for?
Well, the resolution should have laid it out. I haven't looked at the resolution, but we don't do subdivisions. So we never have.
Yeah, okay. Never had.
This is the one that there was a question on whether or not it was a village border. Is that why they sent it to us maybe?
Okay, so the border is the property, the parcel is the village border on the south end there. So that's why, yeah. They checked off that it was near the highway, but I believe that it could also be near a highway or within 500 feet of a highway, but they didn't check off the border. I mentioned that to Amy and she's like, oh, okay, well then.
So I guess we send that back. Thank you for letting us know, but we don't have any input.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then the
Finally?
third one, the local law review for 2021, law 123 under consideration for amendments and moratorium.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Someone has a lot of background noise. Could we just, everyone mute? I'm having trouble. Thank you.
Okay. So this is local law 1, 2, and 3 for 2021 amendment to chapter 201 vehicle and traffic and a moratorium prohibiting food trucks, trailers, and mobile food operations. And it didn't seem like there was any intermunicipal impact per se. So I propose matter of essentially local concern on them, unless other people have discussion on this.
You guys need to unmute and give me a motion.
I think it's a matter of local concern.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Allison? Or do you have a question?
I'm just thinking that they need to notify their adjacent municipalities when they approve their zoning changes, but that's my only comment. Or for input on their zoning update.
Okay.
That's my comment. Otherwise, I'll second the approval.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried. Any other gems for us today, Pamela?
There's an APA notice about variance
right.
application from APA, and it's just an expansion of an existing dwelling on moderate intensity. That's it.
So
Yep.
Pamela, the short answer is why don't we do subdivisions is because the resolution authorizes us to do 239M. And 239M refers to adoption or amendment of a comprehensive plan, adoption or amendment of zoning ordinance or local law, issuance of a special use permit, approval of a site plan, granting of an area use or area variance. So site subdivisions aren't in 239M.
That's right. I read it too, and I'm like, where's subdivisions?
Right. That's why we don't do subdivisions. We only do 239Ms.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay.
Well, and so we won't be meeting
Next
is there
week.
any other business? Or-
I see Sue's hands up. Did you have a question, Sue?
Cassie, I don't know if this is the right committee to bring it to, but I know Laura is on here a lot and Pamela is about the broadband survey. I'm getting a lot of, no,
That would go this afternoon
Yeah.
to the ag.
This isn't a board committee.
thank you,
This
Roger. So
This
when,
took the place of the old county planning board.
okay,
This is the planning agency. So ag and planning tourism is this afternoon at 1. So that's where we bring it up.
okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, input?
Well, I had just one thing that came to mind. It has to do with the email I exchanged with Allison when I received the solar and the request to move it. And the planning agencies exists for many reasons, but one, to be more agile and limber so we can respond to municipalities as they need us, I guess. But also there's this question of a 30-day referral to the planning agency. So I didn't know if Allison, you wanted to make a comment about that or not, but I wanted to just bring it up.
Yeah, I think there's a valid reason for a 30-day time frame for us to make a decision. And I do agree with being agile when a community needs us to be. In this particular instance, it was the applicant who requested the change, which is why I was hesitant to, why originally I didn't think it was appropriate. But once you communicated with the municipality and they requested the change, I think that was made it a little more appropriate. But I think moving forward, unless there's a really significant reason, I think we should continue to, keep our scheduled meetings. That way the municipalities are able to plan and time the 30 days for when they need it. I think maybe before there wasn't a scheduled meeting, which is why the agility was more important. But now since there's a schedule, we can tell them the schedule and have that 30 days be more, they can plan around it, I guess I should say.
Okay.
so what is the 30 days? They have 30 days, or we have 30 days when they give it to us to act on it.
Mhm.
It can't be kind of like when we're, well, it is, we're moving towards it being a regular meeting. So, they have to get we have to get our bills in by the Wednesday before the first Wednesday of the month. Is there could there be like a rule like that so we don't have to do this?
We had regularly scheduled meetings. The problem was, of course, that municipalities don't like to wait sometimes, and they don't like to have to do the supermajority to if they miss us, they can still do things with the supermajority. And they didn't want to do that. So they wanted us to, so we tried to be a little more agile because it's easier to get this small group together than it was to get all the other people together. But you're still going to, unless you're going to hold them to it, you're going to have the same problem we had with the other group. The idea was, and Pamela was right, this was a little more nimble because it was a much more condensed group. I mean, we had 17 some odd members of the county planning board, you know, and that was a tough group to get together in a flash versus 4 people or 3 people to get together is a lot easier to do it. But you're still going to have that same problem of some applicant's going to come in and he's going to want to try to get that momentum going and, you know, make things happen really fast. So the question is the committee going to stick to, or the planning agency going to stick to their guns and then make exceptions only when, you know, there are things that happen that you want to move the timetable up, or are they going to say, look, this is the schedule, and barring some monstrous, you know, change in it, you're going to have to stick to the schedule. And that's a question you all are going to have to, it's been a problem since day one. Because you're trying to work 2 different schedules. But the localities knew what the schedule was for the old planning board. It met every month for a long time sometimes. But the question is, what is exception worthy in your eyes? And if everything's exception worthy, then what the heck? But, you know,
I would
there's
think
some
that
self-imposed exceptions.
when stuff comes through Pamela, that she would have an idea if it was really exception worthy and she could check with you. But if not, I would prefer to stay to the schedule. I mean,
Right.
all of us on this have multiple jobs and we had a schedule, and then to try and change something short notice and do it professionally isn't always efficient. I mean, Deb's in construction season. Allison is busy. To jump, I think we should hold to the 30-day unless Pamela feels something is necessary and you review it and say, yes, we have to meet ahead of time. That's my
Right.
opinion. Stick to our
There
schedule.
were 2 reasons for going to this format rather than the former format. And that was, number one, they're having a hard time filling vacancies to get a quorum because it was such a large group. And then number 2, they're having a hard time getting folks to actually show up to go to a meeting because it was such a large group. And then number
Yep.
3 was, if in fact you needed to do something on a shorter time frame, it was hard to get all those cats together in one place. So this is like Pamela said, designed to be a much more nimble group on the occasions that that's required. But you can easily turn every occasion into, you know, why can't I just have instant service? It's only 3 people to get together. And the answer is because it's a regularly scheduled meeting, except in very grave, you know, you'd hate to lose a project because of that. But at the same time, if you allow it to, everything will become I'd like to have it now.
Yep.
I have to say, I've never seen a project get lost because of this, but I guess there's always a possibility. But Pamela, maybe it'll take some outreach to the municipalities to be like, hey, we've changed our format again. This is our schedule. Just a reminder, there is a 30-day per New York State, whichever GML it is, there's a 30-day period for our response. Please plan accordingly.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments?
All right, I won't see you next week here.
Yeah, you'll see us in DPW. Okay,
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
adjourned.